talking again today to Tanya Kwasza, who's from Catalyst 2, a property investment company. Very, very interesting. And if I were you, I'd have your pen and paper handy to jot down some numbers and websites too, because I think you're going to want to follow up on our chat today with Tanya. Just quickly encapsulate what Catalyst 2 is, first of all, Tanya.
No problems, Alice. What we are independent property strategists. And what we do is we meet with clients, we look at their current financial situation and social situation. We then take into account their long-term needs, their goals, their family situation, and we put together a property strategy which involves matching that client to the correct property.
Okay.
And from there we associate and we link them up with specialists such as accountants, solicitors and mortgage brokers so that they have the correct legal and financial structures in place.
Good, which is very, very important.
It is, yeah.
Now, I also noticed that you advertise properties with Housing New Zealand Corporation leases with them. Now, can you explain what these are and what the benefits are to the investor, Housing New Zealand homes?
Yes, in New Zealand at the moment we've got a social crisis. We've got over 100,000 people on waiting lists looking to rent properties. So the government is sourcing private investors and they're attaching to new properties long-term government leases. And these can range from 5 years to 25 years. But the average lease, Alice, is 10 years with a right of renewal of 15 years, which means that your rent will be paid as an investor for 52 weeks of the year for 10 years or 15 years.
So it's a guaranteed sort of...
It is a guarantee.
Yeah.
Effectively, you should be looking at that as a long-term bank account because what you're doing is just putting in the top up for the next 15 years and everything is fully managed and looked after for you.
That's actually interesting, and I guess quite a few of your clients starting to look at Housing New Zealand Corporation leases?
Yes, they are. And people are particularly drawn at this stage when there's a lot of uncertainties out there. At least that's one certainty. They know that their rent's going to be paid. They know that the properties are going to be fully managed. They know that if there's any damage done by the tenant, that the government is responsible for it. And we're finding a lot of clients in their 40s are coming to us. They've got another 15 years, or in their late 40s, 15 years in the workforce. And this is a perfect vehicle for something that's passive, they can walk away from, they continue doing their own job. We're all busy, they can live their lives, but this is ticking away in the background, slowly creating wealth over time.
Okay, because I noticed you mentioned property managers there, because I think there's a bit of a stigma attached to Housing New Zealand homes. People think that, you know, maybe the houses will be wrecked, but as you say, if there is any property damage, it's all taken care of.
That's right.
And these are new properties too we're looking at on the whole, are we too?
Yeah, they're brand new properties, and for any investor they are at risk of having their property damaged, and I believe with Housing New Zealand you've actually got additional protection because they are fully managed, and if there is any damage it is not your responsibility, it's the responsibility of the lease or the government to fix that up.
Yeah, so that's a nice little added surety, isn't it, for people?
It is, yeah.
And particularly people who don't want to take too many risks, I suppose, when it comes to investing in property. Another idea that people get is that perhaps they might become ghettos over a period of time.
Yes, and I think that's a very common perception, and Nikki and I are very, very conscious that when we select Housing Corp New Zealand properties that we hand pick them in good suburbs and we make sure that they're not surrounded so you don't get that ghetto effect.
Right.
For example, at the moment it's very hard for us to source really, really good properties that are under 500,000 in Auckland. We do have a lot in West Auckland, there's 18 of them, great houses, good sections, but there are 18 together. I personally would not invest in that, therefore I wouldn't recommend that you invest in that. So we target areas where you've got a really nice suburbs, and these Housing Corp New Zealand properties are dotted through them.
Yeah, that's the ideal, isn't it? That's the excellent one.
Because what happens at the end is at the end of your 15 years, you own an attractive property, it's 3-4 bedroom on a good site, in a good suburb, you've got a great shell. They start off as a plain Jane, but you've got a beautiful shell which you can come in and you can titivate at the time and either sell it or rent it out again.
Okay, and they're good quality homes too,
absolutely, yeah. You've got a double protection because in order to pass the code of compliance they're checked, and of course you have a second inspection by a building inspector from Housing Corp New Zealand.
Okay.
And they're one of the largest landlords in New Zealand.
That's right.
So they're very, very conscious of the builders they use and of the materials.
Wonderful.
And generally you'll find that they stick to brick and tile and to aluminium windows.
Great, good stuff. So if we want to find out more, pick up your Wealth is Good information brochure. What's your website, first of all?
The website, Alice, is www.catalyst2.co.nz.
Okay, and you've got a nice, easy number to remember, phone number?
We have. It's free phone 0508 Catalyst. And you can call us from anywhere around New Zealand.
Great stuff. So give the team a call at Catalyst 2, 0508 Catalyst, or check out that excellent website, catalyst2.co.nz.